And tonight, this gentleman will be making his network television debut. This is his most recent album right here. It's called Spirit of Love. We're very pleased to welcome Majek Feshek.
Arise from your sleep, Africa. Rise from your sleep, America. There's work to be done, Africa. There's work to be done, America. But if we unite, we will be free. So long, too long, so long, too long. We've been sitting down for so long. We've been fooling around for too long. We've been sitting down for so long. I have not been fooling around for too long. So long, so long, too long, too long, so long, for too long, too long. Hey. Remember, long time ago, when we used to live like prince and princess. Remember, the pyramid of Egypt, when we used to live like prince and princess. Remember, Marcus Garvey, who are the dream for new America. Oh, remember, Martin Luther King, the dream for new America. They say you are black, they say you are brown, they say you are black, they say you are brown. Only the angels of Jah is white now. Only the angels of God is white. So long, too long, so long, too long. We've been sitting down so long. We've been a fool around for too long. Arise from your sleep, Africa. Arise from your sleep, America. There's work to be done, Africa. So much work to be done, America. But if we unite, hey, we will be free. So long, too long, so long, too long. Pressing down for so long.
And tonight, this gentleman will be making his network television debut. This is his most recent album right here. It's called Spirit of Love. We're very pleased to welcome Majek Feshek.
Arise from your sleep, Africa. Rise from your sleep, America. There's work
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your geographical location. Thanks for joining those of you who are watching. I hope you had a good day so far at work. So, if you can see what is on the screen there, it says let's start by shaming ourselves. What do I mean by let's start by shaming ourselves? For those of us who are familiar with the social media space, you will remember some time back a Dutch woman who recorded two constabulary requesting or asking for her to give them for her to give them money, like bribe her, and she recorded it and posted it on social media, and it was a talk was trended at that time, and probably people still talk about it. And the end result of it is that the two constabulary were dismissed from the police force. And as such, I said, let's start by shaming ourselves with the hope and with the intent that if you are able to record me, use the word me, meaning me talking to you now, giving bribe in any shape or form, and you record it and you post it on social media, maybe it will bring some sanity and bring about that desired change that what we are looking for. And as often said that if we can deal with that issue, I believe it will be a change or a start for a change. Now, I have to acknowledge that they said the fish rots from the head, and we know our leaders are nothing to write home about. Therefore, the body of the fish is as well there with the citizens. So, while we are hoping and praying for our leaders to change, I think we, the citizens, have to take responsibility and take the bull by the horn and let that culture, that behavior of change, start with us. On my way back from work today, I remember back in the advert about Andrew. Don't check out. Nigeria will be better, and here we are still. Nigeria has no better. Now we are seeing people. The phrase now is jackparing, and when will it be better? That is the question. I also recent on social media, particularly on Moye's Corner, where they said there's a day for youth to come out and cause the INEC chairman Mahmoud, and people were responding to that. What difference would that make? We've had bad leaders worse than Mahmoud. Buhari was there, he left. Abacha was there. So many of them were there. So will Cousin do it? No, Cousin won't do it. Wishful thinking and prayer equally at this point, even though many will not agree with me, but I have evidence to tell you that even just praying alone cannot solve the problem. Now, if you take a look at what I'm talking about, is if you and I stop giving bribe. I use the word stop. Let's build a culture. We've already built that culture of giving bribe. Our leaders today were once in our shoes. If I can give 1 naira today, I can give 100,000 tomorrow. And by giving, I can also be on the receiving end as well too, because I have built a culture. I have developed a culture to what? To give. And as such, it will what? It will continue. So if we change this behavior of giving bribe and stop giving bribe, if we change that behavior, and it will be very painful. It's not an easy thing to do, because last week my chairman was saying, what about somebody who earns 30,000 naira and have family to feed? There is no justification for what? For giving or receiving bribe. Nothing to justify it. A good name, they always say, is better than what? Than riches. So whether I earn 5,000 or I earn 30,000 or I earn 100,000, if I am able to what? To start giving bribe when I earn 5,000, it is equally possible, or there's a heavy likelihood that even if I'm earning 55 million naira in a month, I will still give and I will take. How much is better Edu receiving? How about all those senators who are there and governors who have been governors two time? Are they not? Will you say they are not? They don't have enough to satisfy them? Of course they do. They also collect pension even after retiring, and but yet they still wants to be in the corridor of power. You can see it never stops. But not until we start to discipline ourselves. I will start to highlight from the Quran, even though I'm not a Muslim, but I want to draw a balance here because balance is very, very important. My other chairman, Mazi Ezekiel, doesn't like the word only to be used. But I state for the record again that if we start this, if we stop giving bribe. I'm not focusing on the receiver. Yes, they are equally important. But remember, the giver is equally also will turn toward to the receiver tomorrow. But if the giver stop, which is you and I, all of us in it, we stop giving, then it will kickstart whatever change we want to change. I don't have that moral ground to tell Peter not to sell his votes. Then, on my way to work, the policeman stopped me and I give the policeman bribe. What moral ground do I have to tell Peter what he did is wrong? I'm equally doing what? The same thing. Campaign will come 2027. But before campaign, we need to start to what? To start to effect this change. Now, Surah Al-BAQARAH chapter 2, verse 188. Caution against the acquisition of wealth and what? And bribing authorities. It went further stating that what? It served as a reminder that engaging in corrupt practices disrupt, I love that word, disrupt the equilibriums established by Allah, perpetuating sin and what? And injustice. And we can see that as a result of giving and receiving bribe, that is why we have what? Injustice in our land. The judges in the last election, it was alleged that what? They were paid off, therefore the judgment went against Peter Obi. Let's argue that that is the case for the purpose of this what? Of this discussion. That is highlighting the giving and the receiving of bribe. It comes in different what? In different shape, form, in different way. For example, another example is my child didn't have the normal scores to get into university. What do I do in return? I went to the school authority to bribe the school authority so that what? That child can what? Can get into the university. What example have I said? So if I now find myself in a position of leadership, like a senator, a governor, a chairman of a local government, a minister, there is likelihood that I will do the same thing, bribe my way to defraud the system. So that is from the Quran. It is important. You look at it. Let's take our mind back to what that lady, that Dutch lady, did. If we start to do that, if you call me out, you see me give bribe, it doesn't matter how much it is. We all have cameras and we can record ourselves. You're violating no law by that. She didn't violate any law, but rather it brought, I wouldn't say it brought a change to the system because it's because she's white. They are able to what? To blow it like that. But that giving and receiving is still going on. Is it the case that it has stopped? No. It can only stop when you and I start to do it, not when an outsider come and do it for us. She's come, she's gone. And we are still what? In the same boat. Hence the title, let's start by shaming ourselves. It took a white person, a Dutch lady, to come into the country to shame the policemen. Now, she could as well equally have given them the money and go away. Whatever our intent is, I don't know. But we can judge and argue that whatever intent is, it brought something to light. 2 constabulary were dismissed, unfortunately. So if we now start to shame ourselves, call out ourselves, like I said, if you see me giving bribe, making false statement, record me, call me out, put it on social media, and maybe it will kick sense into my head, and I will stop what? Giving bribe. Because that is the major problem that we have on ground. What is corruption? That is what corruption is defined simply as giving and what? And receiving of bribe. When you arrive at the airport, those who travel, and the immigration officer asks you to give him or her money, refuse to, because they are being paid for doing their job. If every one of us starts this, cultivate this habit, if you go to the office, the passport office, any office, and they requested for money to pass your file from one desk to the other, then say no. Now, if everyone starts to say no, it will bring that culture of change, whether I will like it or not. Like I said, I'll repeat what my chairman said again. He said about a gatesman who is receiving 30,000 and what, and have family to feed. Nothing justify giving or receiving bribe. Nothing justifies it, because once you start, you ain't gonna stop. When you become that chairman or CEO or governor or minister or this and that, for the fact that you started receiving and giving bribe when you were receiving 30,000, there is likelihood, the chances very high that even when you start to receive 1 million naira a month, and the opportunity comes for you to give and to receive just to find your way through, you will. So we will start by doing that. If we're going to see a change, if we want to see a change in society, if not, we are going to wish all we want to wish. As much as I believe in prayer, we are going to pray all we want to pray, even because both the Quran and the Bible did not say you should wish and pray it. It said we should act on it. Yes, pray. Am I dismissing prayer? No, I'm not. It's necessary, it's essential, but it comes with also a responsibility that you and I need to do as well too. Now, in respect to the Bible, it said, don't take bribes, bribe blind, perfectly good eyes, and twist the speech of good people. This is in part of receiving. Now, whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're a Buddhist, or whoever you are, but you're a Nigerian, okay? The third aspect applies to you, okay? The third aspect buttresses the Quran and what? And the Bible, which is no person shall offer a public officer any property, gift, or benefit of any kind as an inducement or bribe for granting of any favor or the discharge what in his favor of the public officer's what duty. This is taken from section 8, 5th schedule, Code of Conduct for Public Officers, 1999 Constitution of Nigeria with Amendment 2011. Now, most have said our constitution is a fraud. May God have mercy on those people. But if you say the constitution is a fraud, do you disagree with this, which is enshrined in the constitution? Now, section 6 of the Code of Conduct highlights officers, directly officers, in terms of receiving. But this is addressing us. Section 8 of it says no person highlighting, buttressing the earlier one I read from the Quran and the one I read what from the Bible. It's a culture we have established, we have formed. I said we, every one of us. In fairness, it's hard to distinguish or to pull out those who don't give. I'm not saying that there are people who don't give or who haven't given bribe in Nigeria. It is highly possible. But For us to find that, it will be like finding a needle in a stack, or how they put it, or as they say, the camel going through the eye of what? Of the needle. It's a cultural bit. So our human behaviors have to change. If not, we're going to sit every day in, day, night and argue and talk and do whatever we want to do. We can insult our leaders and criticize them. But what is the point, me criticizing you? And in my own corner, I'm doing the same thing. What's the point? Because by the time I get up there tomorrow, I will do the same thing. What's the point of me criticizing the current president? And also, I'm doing the same thing in my own little corner. What's the point of me criticizing Wike or Beta Edu or Bajamiala for that matter? And in my own little space and corner, I am doing the same thing. It doesn't make sense. We can't change the situation like that. We have to stop. And I say it, and I say with all authority, that we have to stop giving bribe. It's a painful sacrifice. Change does not come easy. Unfortunately for us, Nigerians, we are expecting the change to fall from the sky. It ain't gonna fall from the sky. We're expecting a big bang, like the Big Bang Theory, the comedy or the drama that we watch in time past. We are expecting this big bang change to just fall upon us and fall upon the country, and the country will just change overnight. It doesn't work like that, and it will never work like that. So we have to what? Stop. I mean, me and you and me, us, we have to stop giving bribe. It's difficult. Trust me when I say so. It is hard. But if we want to see what? A good country, a country that we want to change for our children, our next generation to come. Because if we don't do it now, if we don't start now, they copy from us. They copy from us. I got on the bus today and just joking, I was talking to a colleague on the bus. Oh, it's been long I saw you. Where have you been? Blah, blah, blah. Just on I said, I thought you've gone back to Nigeria to join Tinubu. And I said, no, it's not going to join Tinubu. It's waiting for Tinubu to leave, then it will be his own turn. And we said it jokingly and we just laughed. And I shook my head. Imagine the mentality we all have. It's the same thing. It comes as a joke, but most of us have, those of us even in diaspora, have the same mentality. And it's time for us to tweak this mentality and change. So whether you are earning 5,000 or 10,000 or 30,000, and you want a change for that country, you and I just have to stop. Like I said, it's a very painful thing because you get nothing done in that country without giving a bribe. It's very hard. It's a painful sacrifice we all have to make. No one is exempted from it. No one is holier than the other. We are all in it. So if we don't start that, we don't do that, then we're not going to go anywhere. And like I'll say it again, just for the purpose of emphasis, that we can wish it ain't going to come. We can go out there and cause mammoth, it ain't going to bring that desired change. It makes no difference. And those who are in support or instigating of causing people, I mean, the Bible says that you use the same mouth to bless and you use the same mouth to curse. How is that possible? How is that possible? Is it the only one involved in it? The answer is no. Why don't you make a day of cursing to Buhari as well, to Babangida as well, to Goodluck Jonathan, to Sanyolu also, to Wike and everyone? Is it the only one? Or because the 2023 election did not go in favor of Labour Party, you now think is the worst thing that has happened in Nigeria. Therefore, we all should go out and curse. What a baloney, man. I don't understand people. Anyway, back to let's start by shaming ourselves. If you see my chairman, Durula Fokonkwa, giving bribe, and you have the opportunity to record him and showcase him on social media. If you see my second chairman, Mazioke, giving bribe or receiving bribe, mostly giving, record him. We know how we all have cameras. We are all photographers by default or by nature right now. We all have phone cameras that we can just secretly record each other, record me giving bribe, and shame me the way those two policemen were shamed and were dismissed. Record the person that I'm giving bribe to and put it there. It's free of charge. YouTube will not charge you anything for putting it out there. I understand that they want to regulate social media in Nigeria. I don't know if it's true that if you criticize the government, you are going to be you will be sent to 3 years in jail. I don't know if that is true. No problem. Let's criticize each other. Let's shame each other. Let's see who is going to put who in prison now. How many people are they going to put in prison if it is true? Let's criticize it. Let's start by shaming ourselves. We don't need outsider. Like what Mr. Femi Falana said, he doesn't need to go to America or to London or this and that to know what to do. We know what to do, but we are refusing to do it. And we are expecting a miracle. Some of us were like that before we left the country. And when we got here, we got reformed. And we saw if we were left that way, we probably will continue in the same mentality and attitude. Let's be honest with ourselves. I know we don't like the truth, we don't like honesty, but we are not like that. So when we start by shaming ourselves, it could be, it's like I said, it could be that person could be your uncle, could be your brother, could be your sister. Worst of all, it could be your father, your mother. You can call them and have a word with them. So let's start shaming ourselves with the hope that it will bring that change. The way those two constabulary were dismissed. Maybe, even though I cannot be dismissed because I don't work for the government, I don't work for it, but putting my face out there as you are seeing me now, and tomorrow you see me giving bribe, come on. It will be crazy. I think for the integrity of this channel, my chairman will ask me to step down and stop being a moderator, because it's not promoting the integrity of this platform. For someone who is seen giving bribe and coming here telling people not to give bribe, that's not promoting integrity, promoting or protecting integrity of the channel. It's counterproductive. It's double standard. And that is a good part of social media. We saw what happened. It didn't kill anybody. They were stripped off, dismissed. Imagine if they are married and have children. I feel for the mental agony those children and their wives will go through. So if we know that this will bring change, and I'm saying it will bring change in a positive way, if I am conscious that Shosho is going to record me giving bribe because he has that technology and that skill to record me without me knowing, I'll be very cautious. And I will refrain from doing so. Let's start by shaming ourselves, hoping that it will bring some sense into us. So I hope that will help. Those of you in the comment section, it's only criminal that give bribe to save themselves. Well, are you suggesting, Comfort, that those who give police bribe on the road, they are criminals? You don't necessarily have to be criminal to give bribe, though you can. You can be. You can turn to criminal. It's a criminal offense to give bribe according to the Constitution, if we follow the letter of the law, aiding and abetting is a crime. So if I give you bribe, I may not be prosecuted. The other officer who will receive bribe, either is a government person or a private person, may lose their job and may face prosecution, depending on what it is. Me, the giver, may not, because I may just be what? I may just be ordinary citizen. So that is why the focus is on the giver. So your argument that it's only criminal that gives bribe to save themselves, that means we all are criminals. Because why do I give the policeman bribe? Because I don't have a driver's license and my correct paper. Then I need to save myself. Then I'm saving myself then, rather than the policeman to follow the letter of the law and arrest me or seize my license. Over here, if you don't have a license, you can drive. You can't be behind the wheel. It's a criminal offense. If I don't have insurance, it's also a criminal offense. If I fail to display my road tax, that is a fine. I think it's about 80 euros you pay. Failure to display an up-to-date road tax. Recently, someone went to do their driving test. They have the road tax, but they failed to display it. Or, I beg your pardon, it hasn't come in the post. They've paid for it. They have a receipt for it. But for the fact that the law says you must display a road tax on your car, they did not conduct the test for the person. And the person lost about 85 euros. That's enough money if Comfort is not married, that's enough money to arrange a wedding ceremony to marry Comfort. Comfort, if you are there. Good evening to you too, Comfort. Other things, AJ, other things have to be in place before we can achieve what you're talking about, sir, including in the West. I don't understand. What are those other things you are talking about? I don't know. But you see, if you say other things have to be in place, such as what? Forget about the West, for crying out loud. Don't we have a choice? Don't we have a mind to make up? Can we not say no? What is the West? What are the things? If you don't mind, what are the things? Can you highlight the things that needs to be in place? Remember, I am not dismissing the fact that the fish rot from the head. We also must acknowledge also that before this fish became head, they were once tail, like you and I, part of the body of the fish. It is a figure of speech. Even though I don't know, when we were growing up, because I hawk fish before, and I've hawked fish and newspaper before. When we were growing up, if the head of the fish is bad and the body is still good, we just chop the head of the fish off. What do? We fry the body and we eat it. But in terms of using figure of speech as well too, in terms of bringing it to the human factor, the head there is the leader. But before the head got there, the head was once part of the body and the tail, and it started to rot small, little by little, until it got to the head. Nobody becomes corrupt overnight. It starts from somewhere. Nobody starts to give bribe and receive bribe overnight. It starts from somewhere. And as long as it starts from somewhere, it starts just like you and I now giving bribe. And so when I become the president tomorrow and I've not changed my behavior as an ordinary citizen, when I get there, trust me, I probably will send Nigeria to the lowest bidder, not the highest bidder. I'll look for the lowest bidder and sell it. Because if I'm receiving 30,000 naira and I can receive bribe, then that means even if I can sell it for 30,000 naira as well too. That is how cheap bribe and corruption can make one to be. So AJ Alex, if you can tell us, please, what are those other things that we need to put in place before we can achieve what I am talking about, including the West? What are those other things? So if you, for example, Alex, I'm not saying you are AJ Alex, if you are giving bribe now, for example, what do you need that what do you think I will put in place for you to stop giving bribe? Remember, the focus is on what is on the giver. I acknowledge the receiver as well too, but the focus is on the giver according to what? According to the Constitution, section what? Code of Conduct, fifth schedule says here that no person shall offer a public officer any property, gift, or benefit of any kind as an inducement or bribe for granting of any favor or the discharge in his favor of the public officer's duties. Is there in black and white? And those who say the Constitution is a fraudulent document, can let them tell me if this is a fraudulent statement that is enshrined in the Constitution. You find it in Section A, Fifth Schedule, Code of Conduct of Public Officer, 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, with Amendment 2011. Man of Prestige. No, he said, no, sorry, before I come to you, man of Prestige. No, sorry, I think I jumped some. Oh, no, apology. I jumped some. So I think I end here. Man of Prestige, good evening to you. Thank you for joining. And on ending problem of corruption, bribery is endemic in Nigeria. On the one hand, it gets you instant access to things you should already have, and failure to oblige is detrimental. Man of Prestige, I can understand that detrimental aspect you are talking about. But like I said, I'm not going to disagree with you. It happens. Because if you don't bribe, you don't get it. But if we have to make sacrifice, that's what it's called, sacrifice. When we make this sacrifice, that come what may be, I am ready to go through this. Remember, it's for our generations to come. Yes, it is endemic. The unending problem of bribery this is about me not giving. Me not giving. You not giving. The receiver will ask, if we're going to do this thing, like I said, we have to be committed and be ready to make that sacrifice. That is the only way. If we don't make this sacrifice, ain't going to get there. It's all about what? A sacrifice. One of the human behaviors. Let me see if I can get it out. One of the human behaviors that was highlighted to me is about what? It's about sacrifice. Examples we're given. It's about what? It's about sacrifice. And if we don't make that sacrifice, then we are not going to get anywhere. We ain't going to achieve it. Whatever it is, we're not going to. So it's I'm trying to get it out because there are more than 4 human behaviors, but I pick on the 4 but there's one I came across which I found very interesting. Once I break it out, I will highlight it for us to see. If we don't make sacrifice, where will we get there? We ain't gonna get there. I'm listening, and it's a great monologue. Well done. God, thank you for joining as well too. Shaming ourselves is not enough, sir, to stop giving a bribe anywhere. It's a starting point. But if it's not enough, what other things do you think we can do? Please. It's not just saying, it's about profiling solution. I have profiled one, which most of us agree with, I beg your pardon. But AJ Alex, you are saying it's not enough. Agreed. But can you please list or highlight those other things that we need to do? I just asked you a question. What do you want me to do for you to stop giving bribe? What do you need? What should be in place for me to do? You and I now. I'm not talking about Tinubu and you now. Yes, they are our leader. They have their own responsibility. They should lead by example. But what do I need to do? And if I don't do it, Is there a justification now? Does that give you a justification to start giving bribe, to continue to give bribe? So if you say, give me a job, and I can't give you a job, I cannot give you a job, I can't do this and that, is that enough justification for you to say because electricity refuse or cannot give you job, you will continue to give bribe? Where do you get the money from? And for you to be able to get the money to give bribe, that means you are not that bad off then. You don't need a job. So if we now have to continue in this and start to discipline ourselves and develop this culture, because like I said, and you all will agree with me, these people started just the way you and I. Some of us left, we got reform, we got change, and we said we're not going to do that again. And we stopped. Even when we come, it becomes, it irritates us. But we need to do more. We need to what? We need to do more. And until we start to do more, then we will get to where we're going. So yeah, it's about corporate consciousness. Corporate consciousness. Individual make up corporation. If I am correct. You got reform because of fear of punishment. I agree with you. Because of fear of consequences. If I'm correct, are you meaning fear as FEAR? I believe that's what you're trying to say. So we got to reform. I got reform because of the consequences. That's 100% correct. And that reformation works well for me. But what I am saying is, as human behavior, as behavior that does not wait or should not change because of consequences, is what we should start to do. Must we wait and change because there's going to be consequences? No. The answer is no. The answer what? Is no. Good behavior is what we have to start practice in the context of what we are discussing. Because if you and I refuse to give in whatever way, in whatever form, nobody is coming to arrest you for refusing to give. Yes, like what Man of Pretty rightly said, our refusal to give can be detrimental. But we go to what Kotsoji said as well, to corporate consciousness. So if all of us come together and say, you know what, we are not going to do this, it starts by you, from me, and you. So one person started, the next person will join, the next person will join, the next person will join, the next person will join. And so it's spread that way. But if we have to make up our mind, we have to make up our mind in doing that. Comfort, yes, really. Really. Yeah, that's what I said. Like law, so I said like law, enforcement, poverty. We just highlighted that. I just like that. Man of prestige again. Man of prestige. If Nigerian government wants to minimize bribery and corruption, must begin to implement policies targeted at addressing impunity among public officials. Man of prestige, if you understand what I said, I am going to highlight this. Before I highlight this, I'll come back to you, man of prestige. Gostein said, my brother, listen, people give bribe because government official request. Exactly. Government official request because a lack of living wage. Pay government official living wage and they won't request. I am not dismissing the fact that government officials don't request. They do request. Section 6, Code of Conduct, 5th Schedule, 1999 Constitution with Amendment 2011. Go check it out. Section 6 or paragraph 6.1 refers to this you are talking about. But what I am talking about is section 8, which is you and I. You and I. No person shall offer a public officer. If you and I refuse to offer a public officer bribe, gift, benefit of any kind as an inducement, they in return will go back to what? To their employer, which is the government. Now, is it the case that governments don't have money to pay civil servant salary? That is not the case. The money is there. You and I know that the money is there. Considering, for example, the issue of Betedu is just one of many issues of fraudulent activities. The money is there. So we must not fool ourselves to say the money is not there. The money is there. Sometime back, pensions that belong to police force, one man went to what? Put it in his what? In an account to yield interest. The money is there. So it's not that the money is not there. It's part of the corruption we are talking about. But this is about you and I, which is section 8 of what? The Code of Conduct, 5th schedule of the Nigerian Constitution. And until we start to enshrine the core values or uphold the core values enshrined in the Constitution, we can wish all we want to wish. That big bang change we are expecting ain't going to come from anywhere. Sorry, you may find it disappointing. You may find it heartbreaking. It ain't going to come from nowhere. Because even the Bible recognizes that what? Don't give and don't receive. It didn't say pray not to give bribe. No. I ain't gonna say that down there. Anybody who teaches you that, the person is deceiving you. Because, like again, I always use myself as an example. Back in those days, we closed from church. We're going home, we're driving, no driver's license, no particulars. We stop by the church, the policeman say, "Happy Sunday, brother. Oh, please, and I pray for final." It's all the same thing. We give and we continue the journey. It continues that way. We can try to justify it whichever way we want to justify. Oh, I bless him with that money. I'm just coming from church. How about the days that you do not go to church? Do you have driver's license or particulars? Is it only on Sunday? It's blessing. Come on. We know the problem. We know the solution is staring right in front of us. Where did I stop? I stopped at God's time. Yeah, I think I stopped here. Yeah, so AJ Ajes, I did. What did you do? I don't know. Yeah, I think I've highlighted those comments. Yes, I did highlight it. Please check your comment. I did highlight those comments when you were talking about what do you call it? I did highlight it and I did speak about it as well too. But the question I put to you is this. I don't know if that's what you are referring to. What needs to be in place for us to stop giving bribe. And I did said, if those things are not in place, does that justify us giving bribe? If those things are not in place, does that justify that gate man that ain't 30,000 or 25,000 or 20,000? Some people say 20,000. Does it justify the person giving or receiving bribe? That's the question there. Someone said, but that is human nature, unfortunately. Now, yes, it's human nature. No human being, let's get this straight, white, black, doesn't matter what color you think you are, what part of the planet you think we are. No one is immune, I beg your pardon, from being tempted to give and receive. There is no immunity for that. as human beings, anywhere in the world, even in the Western world. But because there are checks and balances in place, there are policies and laws in place to punish. There is accountability. But we're talking about the citizens right now, you and I, the one we can do in our corner. Strengthen legal framework, enforce existing anti-corruption laws such as the corrupt practices and other related offenses, which defines corruption as bribery, fraud, and related offenses. We know all these things. All these things are grammar. We know it's there. We don't need new laws. These things are all there, man of prestige. You know, man of prestige. What I am asking you is this. I'm not going to put you on the spot so that you don't cry to Mr. Rudolph that crucify electricity for me. You just returned from Nigeria not too long ago. Were you tempted or were you not tempted to give bribe? I didn't say you did though. So whether you do or not, you don't have to answer it. Were you tempted to give bribe? And you don't have to answer the question. Did you give bribe? Don't answer the question. It's because there are people listening. I'm not enlightening comment. So, man of prestige. Man of prestige again said public awareness and educate citizens about the detrimental effect of bribery on society and economy. That's part of what I'm doing here. That's part of what you are also doing in the comment section when we are doing this back and forth. Yes, we need to educate them. And going forward, like I said, I'm not gonna be coming sitting down arguing about one thing or the other when we know the problem and we know the solution. Is to what? Is to go on a campaign of what? Of stop giving bribe. Because there's no point we say Tinubu is responsible for our problem when we also are contributing to it. It doesn't make sense. He's not the first president, for crying out loud. It's not. Two-way, okay. Electricity. If Nigeria public servant frustrates you, you won't have any choice but to join them. Right from secondary school days, I experienced this rot in the system. For my document, 2Y, okay. I am not disputing this. It will be unfair, unreasonable, and inhuman of me to dismiss this thing you are lighting, because I went through it as well too. It would be inhuman, unreasonable of me to dismiss this you've just highlighted and what others also have highlighted. But we have to start from somewhere. That is how revolution starts. Revolution is not when people carry gun or carry. No, that is not. It's change in behavior. We have to. Let's start the revolution with ourselves first by change in behavior for the good of the society and generation to come. That is what we're saying. I know the road to face. I know what I faced myself. Let me tell you something. In 2020, when I was back in Nigeria during the COVID, I was in Nigeria for 8 months. When I was coming back, I was told that I need a yellow fever injection. And I can't remember if I have taken that injection before, but you need to show a certificate to what before you can board the plane. So I went to take the injection at the general hospital. They said you have to pay 500 naira. I pay 500 naira. Then I was told that I have to go to MPA port to get a certificate. Fair enough. I took a bike. I went to the MPA port. I said I've paid the money in the bank. I think you pay about 2,000. I can't remember how much I paid then. I say I kept the receipt. They issued me receipt in the general hospital. They issued me receipts to go to even when I went to the bank to pay by the MPA. Then when I went to the MPA to show them the certificate to collect, the document to collect the certificate, they said I have to take another injection that will take me up to a certain years. And I said, well, the one I took in the general hospital, That's where I don't need the one that will take me up to my lifetime. I don't know when I'm going to die. And they said I'm going to pay about 50,000 naira if I am correct. I said, not in a million years will I do that. Honestly, I was determined to miss my flight. I was determined not to go back. But I went to the airport on the day I wanted to travel without a yellow fever vaccine. And I just showed them the document that I have taken it. This is the evidence. They didn't issue me a vaccine certificate. And I boarded the plane. I went through Kenya Airways. So I still have the record. I got to Kenya that day. Now I went with Kenya Airways. I got to Kenya. They were checking out Nigerian passport, this and that, your yellow fever vaccine and everything. I said, I don't have. This is a document, but I didn't have the certificate. Well, she said, there's nothing we can do. You're already here. You're already here. So on your way, you go. It's not easy. I was in between this rock and a hard stone. Are you ready to miss your flight? If they turn you back, what will you do? Or should I pay the 50,000 naira they charge me at MPA port then? After I've already taken the word, paid to take it in the general hospital, paid in the bank. The official money has been paid in the bank. So it's everywhere. I face it, you face it. But sacrifice us. If we're going to change that country, it ain't going to happen in a big bang theory. It ain't going to work like that. We are expecting this big bang experience to just happen. Nah, corruption fights back. And it will always fight back. But as we know, evil never overcome good, but good overcome evil. Thank you, Dr. Thank you. That today's topic is great. I wish you, if you want to join, I'll put the link there. I didn't want to bother many people because I know some people are at work. You wish you could join. Which good to join? Okay, I'll put the link there for those who wants to join. I mean, you're always welcome. I finished work for the day, so I have the entire day with me, so I can play around with it. But rather than playing around, I decided I should come here and have a chat with Mr. Prestige, man of prestige, and others. So the link is there already for those who wants to join. Feel free to join. And those of you who have been in the comment section, thank you for your comment. Keep the comments coming. Even if you want to be righteous or legal, you will be bypass and attend to those who are willing and itching to pay the bribe. How really do you stop this? Okay, this is a very good question. 2Y. Okay, thank you for this. Like I said, and I'm going to repeat, there is no magic wand for this thing. No. It doesn't matter whether they bypass you and go to other people. You start. You do your own part. And trust me, others will join you. We're not going to get everybody that will join. But one thing I sure know is this. When others see the good thing that is happening, they will join. It's not in every society you will see everybody agrees on one thing. No. We will be living in a dreamland thinking that everybody will jump at it. Some people will give until they die. That's their destiny, unfortunately. But for you and I, that is not our destiny. And I want to believe that many Nigerians are willing to change the status quo. Or just only few. Many are willing to change the status quo. Many are willing to change the behaviors, the culture that we have developed over time. So it's just who is going to bail the cat? Who will bail the cat? You and I have to bail the cat. You and I have to take up that responsibility to start. Like I said, we can wish it all we want. For my Muslim brothers on the platform, I would like to highlight this again, where it says, SURAH AL-BAQARAH chapter 2, verse 188, cautions against the acquisition of wealth and bribing authorities. It serves as a reminder that engaging in corrupt practices disrupt the equilibrium established by Allah, which is God, perpetuating sin and what? An injustice. To my brothers who are Christians, don't take bribes. Bribes blind perfectly good eyes and twist the speech of good people. And to my other brothers and sisters who are either Buddhists or atheists or whatever you have, the Constitution, and as Nigeria, the Constitution states that no person buttressing the Quran and the Bible, no person shall offer a public officer any property, gift, or benefit of any kind as an inducement or bribe for granting of any favor or the discharge in its favor of the public officer's duty. This is found in section what? Section 8, fifth schedule, Code of Conduct for Public Officers, 1999 Constitution, with Amendment 2011. And the topic is, let's start what? By shaming ourselves. This is taken what? From the recent incident where 2 constabulary were dismissed because a Dutch woman recorded them asking for bribe. So if I am giving you bribe, or you come across my big face giving bribe, record me. I give you that authority, that permission. This is against me. So if I decide to sue you to court, I have said this, I give you the permission. And there is no law against you recording anyone who is breaking the law. No law, no government will penalize you. Because why? You are doing what is right. Some people will not like you for it. They may hate you for it. But it is what we have to do. It's enough of us talking. Yes, talk is good. Talk is cheap. But we have to start acting. Like you said, we ain't going to change the system by any other means. We ain't going to change it. Our leaders started just like you and I until they got there. So, and if we continue to do that, we will get there one day and we will not change. So, where did I stop? No, I stopped here. No, I took that one. He said, even if you want to be righteous or legal, you will be bypassed. Okay, I think I dealt with that. Chama, long time hello, everyone. Hello to you too. AJ said, fact. Thank you again. It doesn't justify giving or receiving bribe, but I think the change must be enforced by the law enforcers before there will be because there will be general compliance. No. I think in this regard, remember, AJ, 2Y, okay. You don't need a law to tell you or to enforce you not to give bribe. I'm talking about giving now, please. I don't mix it up. I'm not dismissing those who receive, because the giver equally can also be the receiver on the other end. I'm talking about giving. You, me, Chioma, AJS, Man of Prestige, Soji, whatever. Those of us who are here, what's her name? Comfort says it's a criminal that give bribe. Well, Comfort, you've said all of us are criminal. No problem. We can accept it. We are not going to fight with you. But we want to change. We want to change. I'm talking, let me ask, Choma, do you need any law to stop you from giving bribe? This question is directed at Choma, if you are still there. Do you need any law to be enforced to stop you giving bribe, even though there is an existing law? Do you need any law for you not to give bribe? I beg your pardon. Boluagala, the electricity make feel that it doesn't understand and leadership. Does he understand how many Nigerians have been killed because they refuse giving bribe? Within Nigerian government to execute laws, man, I've never dismissed that. And if you've been following me, I did state that it would be inhuman of me to dismiss this, to ignore it. I did say that. Maybe you just joined, and I can understand that. I can understand that. But like what Soji said, corporate consciousness. It's not just, we have to start somewhere. Yes, the law enforcement, the law has to do its job. But how long are we going to wait for the law to do its job before we do our own part? So, how long are we going to wait for it? The policeman have every excuse. We generate every excuse to what? To find something wrong. Let me give you a story. I mean, not a true story, but a comment, a joke. This man was stopped, according to this joke. He has all his papers complete. He has his birth, in fact, he put his birth certificate, he added his marriage certificate, he added everything among his papers, just to make sure that he got everything right. Fire extinguisher, spare tire, everything. It's a joke, it didn't happen in real life. So they now ask him, how come he's alone, he's driving alone? And he said, I am not alone. The angels and the host of heavens, God and all the hosts of heavens are with me in the car. They said, sir, you're under arrest for overloading. They arrested him for overloading his car because he claimed that he has God and all the host of heaven in the car with him. So that is an offense he has committed. I understand this thing. Listen, I didn't come here to say it's going to be easy. Nothing good comes easy. Nothing good come easy. Look at South Africa there today. Though it's not as great as Mandela would have loved it to be, but a lot of people were killed during the apartheid era. He was in jail for 28. Nothing good will ever come easy. It's not possible. Even if we were born with silver spoon or golden spoon in our mouth, there are some things that don't come easy in life. So, Guluwagaladiti, I am not in denial of that, please. I am not. I understand. I've been through it. And probably will still be through it again. I gave to stop the endless begging. We can make any excuse we want to make. We can justify it as much as we want to. Giving is giving, especially at the airport. Well, like I said, we don't have to. What is the difference between giving tips and bribes to public servants? You see, when you are giving tips, you're appreciating people. They didn't demand for it. And you are not obligated. You are not what? Obligated to do it. And that does not mean that they should not do their job the way it is expected to be done. In fact, if they want tips, they will do their job very well, like the way we tip people in restaurants and all those things. But you are not obligated to do it. And that does not stop them from doing their job. Nigerians see bribes as tips, but it's not it. Bribe is bribe. There are two different things, Chema. You know that. But you've not answered my question that I asked you. Alice, Chema, tips is for service render. Bribe is intentional to gain favor. Thank you, Alice CJ. Thanks for helping me to put it right. Tips is for service render. Bribe is intentional to gain favor. Ali J, I wish you could join me on this platform, and so that we can have this discussion very well. Man of bribery is embedded in Nigerian society as whole, which has become a way of achieving a goal. We can change this to man of prestige. We can change it. Chama said thank you to you, Alice FCJ. So evening to you, comfort from comfort to Chema, and Chema to comfort. Evening, dear. How are you doing? Well said. Well said. I think you are referring to Alice J. This thing. So the link is there. The comment out there. Boluwa guy again. You are talking like you don't understand. Okay, I think we've dealt with this before. You are repeating yourself again. Come fine. Thanks, Comfort. I'm gonna thank you for joining. Me. Again, Comfort. We should ask ourselves: did the law and the constitution works in this country? I will come back. We'll take a music break, okay? I will come back again. Just short music break. Our favorite Majek Fashek, and I will come back to you after the break.
And tonight, this gentleman will be making his network television debut. This is his most recent album right here. It's called Spirit of Love. We're very pleased to welcome Majek Fashek.
Arise from your sleep, Africa. Rise from your sleep, America. There's work to be done, Africa. There's work to be done, America. But if we unite, we will be free. So long, too long, so long, too long. We've been sitting down for so long. We've been fooling around for too long. We've been sitting down for so long. I am not gonna fool around for too long. So long, so long, too long, too long, so long, for too long, too long. Hey. Remember, long time ago, when we used to live like queens and princess. Remember, the pyramid of Egypt, when we used to live like prince and princess. Remember, Marcus Garvey, who are the dream for New America. Oh, remember, Martin Luther King, the dream for New America. They say you are black, they say you are brown, they say you are black, they say you are brown. Only the angels of Jah is white now. Only the angels of God is white. So long, too long, so long, too long. We've been sitting down so long. We've been a fool around for too long. Arise from your sleep, Africa. Arise from your sleep, America. There's work to be done, Africa. So much work to be done, America. But if we unite, hey, we will be free. So long, too long, so long, too long. Press the ground for so long.
Yeah, welcome back. Comfort. You asked the question, we should ask ourselves, did the law and the constitution work in this country? I'm going to answer your question with a question because I think it's going to help us to understand. So, Comfort, if you can answer this question, you pick up your phone and type this question. Besides Hello Google that we use with speaking to the gadget, you have to do something. You have to type, pick the phone, switch it on, charge it, buy data into it, and type. Did the phone type this message on its own for you? Please, Comfort, can you answer that question for me, please? I'm answering your question with a question. Did the phone, this thing you just typed now that I highlighted, did it type itself or you used your hand to type it? Please, I need you to answer that question for me. Back to you again, Comfort again. You are saying hi to Choma. Choma back to Comfort. Man of Prestige said, we're offering or giving money, a promise or something of value in exchange for another person's agreement to use. I don't know what you're trying to say there. Good to see you again. Comfort to Choma. That's good start. Extortion warnings are posted. These officials pretty much ignore it. Don't give it. That's what I'm saying. We have to make, yes, they are pasted there. It's there at the airport, it's there in the immigration center, it's there everywhere. Don't give it. Let's start somewhere, please. Enough of us this talking and everything. It ain't gonna, enough of it. We have to start to do. It is doing now that matters. It is doing that matters. I don't know what 2YOK is laughing about, but I guess it's laughing. I don't know what you're laughing about. I don't need any law, but many do. Thanks for that. Choma, because I'm a young lady, it's risky, especially when traveling by road at police stop point. Without law, it's not possible. The laws are there. Is enforcing it. But the people who are enforcing it are breaking it. But the law to stop giving rests with you and I. The law to stop giving is in your hand, it's in my hand. We own that law. The government, the constitution, highlights it. That you have this law in your hand. It is your law. It is my law. Therefore, I should not break that law. That law belongs to me. They highlighted it. That the government will ask. They definitely will ask. Okay? And once they ask, you see, like I said again, I am going to repeat just for the record. It will be inhuman of me, unreasonable, unfair, wicked to dismiss this heel in the society. No. It will be because I was once part of it. Like I said the other day, I can't remember if I have a driver's license when I was driving Nigeria. And for the fact that I cannot remember means I don't have, because I don't forget. There are some things I don't forget. There are some things I don't, that means I don't have. That means for me to get by, I must have, I use the word must have, giving bribe, giving police bribe to get with by. I'll come back to you just 1 second, please. Again, let's say you can define what a leadership means. Do you think leadership leads or leadership follows? Instead of putting pressure on people, why not use platform to put pressure on Nigerian leaders? I think not just this platform, other platform, people like Dele Farotimi, people like Omoye Kona is organizing I don't know which day she's organizing a swear for you to swear for Mahmoud, as if Mahmoud is the only one that's responsible for what happened to the. There are many platforms that are putting pressure on leadership. But my focus, while I do not dismiss the lackadaisical attitude and in our leadership. My focus is what is on us, the followers. Because a reason why I said that is before they got to where they were today, those leaders were just like me and Olumide on the grassroots. Before they got to where they are right now, they walk on the street, they trekked, they drove car just like you and I, and they gave bribe just like you and I. And when they got there, they now saw the opportunity now was boom. So if we can address ourselves, because if, as I'm talking to you now, hypothetically, I give bribe. When I become president or governor or senator, this and that, what do you think I would do? If I don't deal with that culture now, that behavior now. So, 1 second. Without law enforcement, it is not possible. Okay, I'm going to yield the floor to you before I take other comments. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you, electricity. So the issue you are talking about, it's a very complex issue. I mean, this problem you're talking about has bedeviled our society, and I would want to say too that the kind of culture we have has kind of made it very difficult to kind of differentiate between these. For instance, when you're coming from the airport now, the airport one you mentioned, for instance, the guys at the airport are demanding, bros, help us find something now. I mean, they believe that you coming, the kind of society we have, they believe that you coming from that other part of the world, you probably have, you're well-to-do, you have some extra bucks on you, but it is also okay to, if you want to give them, you can. Okay, use this to find something. But if you don't have, they should be able to respect that part of it that you saying you don't have. But when they now begin to purposely delay the clearance of your baggage or your documents, or because of that, the fact that you didn't give them that money, that is when it now borders on corruption. That is when it borders on wanting something, bribery. The same thing in government offices, before they pass your paper. I mean, because this kind of situation kind of prevents competent people from coming forward to come and execute those kind of government contracts. And we have problems all over. So those ones should be discouraged. But where we have this problem majorly, electricity, is right now leadership. When we read it in the pages of the paper, there will always be corruption in the society. Even in the Western world where we are, we read it on the pages of paper. Police arresting, police investigating, police prosecuting people. But that is what we don't see in our part of the world. The fact that the institutions who should be independent and do their job without recourse to anybody, no matter how high or low, that part is not functioning. I mean, in the US, we have cities, some parts of states like Chicago, Detroit, Michigan, where gunshots happen daily, people die daily, The other day I was listening to CNN yesterday, and there was a gun, somebody, about 8 people were shot in the mall. These things happen, but we know that the law enforcement agencies are quick to respond and prosecute. The reason why we keep flocking there and going there is because their system works. There's guarantee that when this thing happens, you will get justice.
Correct.
But too many times, look at Betty Edu's case, for instance. What is going on with that case? If
that case has entered voicemail. Forget it.
if EFCC is looking and is investigating, if they have found anything wanting, she's been suspended.
That's it.
I mean, even if the president wants to pardon her, at least let her go to court and let it go on record that she was guilty of what she did. And if you want to pardon her. I mean, that's up to you, your presidential power, But let it go on record so that people are made example of. But the fact of the matter is corruption goes on every day from the lowest to the highest level of society. But the highest level of the society that we hold in high esteem is not doing what they should do. And it's making the people doing it in the lower level of society child's play. It is even demonic and devilish, for instance, for somebody to work for a government institution for 25, 30 years. For you to now collect your entitlement, you have to pay bribes.
It is sad, to be honest.
You know,
It is sad. I have an auntie, an uncle, and I think an auntie that works for MPA. They died waiting for their pension. They never got their pension.
I mean, this is, and it won't
It,
surprise you that some people
it,
have collected it behind.
oh, of course,
You know,
of course. Of
I mean,
course.
it's sad. It's sad.
It's sad. It's sad. And I'm not dismissing that. To be honest, I will never, like I said, it would be inhuman of me to what? To dismiss that. But if you look at the topic, it says, let's start by shaming ourselves. What do I mean by that? The recent event that happened not too long ago, when that Dutch woman recorded the constabulary of policemen, two policemen asking for bribe. And subsequently, they were dismissed from the force. Now, has that stopped it from happening? No. So I said, maybe this is another route we can exploit. If you, Olumide, for example, sees me giving bribe, you can record me and put me out there in the social media. Maybe it will kick sense. You see, we're exploring, but beside exploring this one, we know the bribery giving and taking is there from time memorial. We admit that. We're only looking for trying to explore a way to bring sanity back into the society. And I know they said the fish rots from the head. But like I said, you and I mean, these people were like just you and I. Now, that they started by giving 1 naira, 1 kobo. Then when we were still using that coins, that's how they started. So it grew to become a culture, a behavior. And to get rid of this behavior, I'm talking about now, we individually start to do something on our own, in our own little corner. With the hope that this will change. You didn't join. Let me highlight something. I don't know what religion you are into. I started by highlighting the Quran. SURAH AL-BAQARAH, chapter 2, verse 118. Cautions against the acquisition of wealth and bribing authorities. It serves as a reminder that engaging in corrupt practices disrupt the equilibrium established by law, perpetuating sin and injustice. Now, the Bible says that don't take bribes, bribe blind perfectly good eyes, and twist the speech of good people. Now, the Constitution portrays these two religions. For those who are not Christian and Muslim, the Constitution now put all of us in one basket. Section 6, Section 8 of the Code of Conduct, 5th Schedule. No person shall offer a public officer any property, gift, or benefit of any kind as an inducement or bribe for granting of any favor or the discharge in his favor of the public officer's duty. And this is found, like again, I've repeated Section 8, 5th Schedule, Code of Conduct for Public Officers. Section 6.1 talks about the public officer, but this Section 8 now put us together, all of us, regardless of our belief, regardless of whatever it is, put all of us in one basket. And like I said, it's not easy. I'll be crazy to say this thing is easy. Because me that I'm saying it, whenever I go home, I'm going to experience it. We have to do it. Can we start to shame ourselves with the hope that, is it because she's a white woman, she was given that, she got that attention, and they sacked 2 people? About you and I, about me and the policeman, about me and that clerk, about me and that airport man. If I record that airport man asking me bribe at the airport or immigration officer, this and that, and I put it there, will the same measure be taken? Back to you, Olumide. I highlighted something. I need you to weigh in on what Man of Prestige said. Sister, I'll come to you. Man of Prestige asked a question. Olumide, maybe you can. Let me see if you can answer. Let me look for the. Yeah, here is the question Man of Prestige asked. Man of Prestige said, can a person accept and keep bribes so long as they act lawfully? I mean, that question. Olumide, there's noise coming from your.
No, I'm not me. I'm quite where I am.
You know, if I mute you now, I will not be hearing that noise again. I'm not hearing the noise again because I muted you. So there's kind of it's from your microphone, I think so. Yeah, okay. Unmute yourself and try again, please. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, I lowered the volume now.
Okay, much better. The noise is gone. Do you mind try to answer Man of Prestige's question, please?
So I mean, the giver and the taker of the bribe are both of them as guilty. You understand? So a bribe in any form or shape should not be condoned, should not be allowed in whatever form or shape. So that is my answer to Man of Prestige. I mean, as long as you've broken the law. If the law of the land says don't give and don't accept, you've broken the law. You understand? So it's just like somebody who wants to execute a contract. You might even be competent to do that contract, but if you give money, you induce to get that contract. That is bribery.
That's bribery.
We see that being prosecuted daily in this part of the world, because there are so many people who want to do that job to, who want to do that contract to, and they may be able to do a better job than you do. They may be able to save the government more money than you do. And if you're collecting bribes to favor a person, you are even enriching yourself at the expense of the state government. And because this extra money that you're taking can still go a long way into executing so many, it destroys the fabric of a society. That is what has led us to where we are today. Part of what has led us to where we are today, when people devise all manner of means, even legally, to get away. You know, they will put it in the budget. They will use it to buy cars for themselves. I mean, and then we know that sometimes legally you might not even be be liable for such an action, but morally, is it right? You know, if the government says they budget money for cars for you to buy, and that car is going to cost over 100 million each for about 200 plus, 300 plus people over the rest of the population, morally at that point in time, is this something that you should be accepting, even if you are not able to prosecute you? Is it morally acceptable? I mean, if it is a country that functions, the constituents where they come from can put pressure on that person to even resign and leave. Look at what happened in Hungary the other day, where they forced their president or their prime minister to resign.
Yeah, to resign because
she used that presidential power. She didn't break the law, but they found it morally repugnant for her to pardon somebody who hasn't even served. I mean, he hasn't even served 10% of his sentence. Yeah. You know, and then you release him into the society, and they were upset, and she had to resign. So these are the kind of things that most societies will not condone. That we, I mean, it is true. I mean, orientation should be ongoing. I agree with what you're doing. That we should start from we should educate ourselves about what forms bribery and corruption can take form of, you know, whether legally or whether morally. But it is those are leaders, especially those who hold political or government posts, executive posts. They have the highest burden of holding this, making sure that our institutions function. You understand? If the EFCC chairman or the Inspector General of Police is investigating an individual, the president he can have knowledge of it as the president of the country, but he shouldn't interfere. He shouldn't sway the outcome of the investigation in anybody's favor. He should let them do. That is how institutions are. We say institutions are independent, should be independent. So
thank you very much.
I mean, so that is where I just see it.
Osita, welcome. I'm going to ask both of you a question, but before I ask both of you the same question, then Osita will answer first. Lumide, somebody said you are off today because you are putting on shirt and you're looking different.
No, I'm just on break. That's all. I saw I'm on break. I saw you, and I just said let me quickly come in and.
No. If you look at the comments there, somebody said
I saw it. But most of the time, I'm always calling in from the pharmacy, but I'm just on break right now.
Good to see you. Somebody here said that to those airport workers, they even collected half-empty jar of coffee.
Osita, I promise not to talk about your political ambition. I will try my best to refrain from.
Somebody answered the man of prestige. Bribe is offered before a service is rendered, while a tip is offered after the service has been rendered. Sometimes, according to Chiom, sometimes it's convenient to just give it because all the ITK police officer can run you there. Nothing justifies bribery, Chama. Let's have that on the record. I get your lesson, but for safety's sake, I will recommend recording secretly. People are wild there. Yeah, that's what I said. Record secretly. That's what I said. The woman, the policemen, those two constabulary were not aware that the woman was recording them. If they were aware, they ain't gonna say anything. They won't do anything. That's just the truth. So back again to answer man of prestige. There is nothing like acting lawfully in bribe. Again, man of prestige. Man of prestige, one cannot create legality out of illegality. Now, to the both of you, we acknowledge that the head is bad. The head is rotten, meaning our leaders, president, senators, blah, blah, blah. We know. So, is it the case that we just leave it like that, fold our hands, wait for the next election, which there is no guarantee? Because, like I said earlier, these people are you and I before they got there. And for us to change the system, you said something very important, which I remember and it just flew through my head. I should have written it down, my apology. You said something that struck my nerves and I just forgot them. Sorry about it. Okay, these people are you and I. They started, for example, Osita is going for, he has a ambition to be either a local government chairman in his constituency or in his hometown. Hypothetically, if he is in the habit of giving bribe and receiving bribe, how do you think he will perform when he gets there and he gets into power? Is it that I've asked a question? Osita, you answer first.
Because let Osita take
it's your name I mentioned first. Osita, go ahead. Answer first. You are muted, Osita. You are muted.
Let me start by saying this. You see, while I lived in Nigeria, I heard of corruption. Yeah? And then it would have been easy for me while I was in Nigeria to say, oh, our politicians were corrupt. Down the line, few years after I started living in the UK, I looked into my own life. I reflected back, and I saw that I also had partaken in the corruption.
Who has that? Who is with that lovely voice in the background, Osita?
It's my boy. Sorry, I'm going to step away.
No, I'm only joking. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know.
Go ahead.
So, did you get what I said? While I was in Nigeria, I used to say our politicians are corrupt because it's something that almost everybody says. But after I started living in the UK, started working in the UK for after a number of years, I realized that I myself had also partaken in the corruption. And why did I say this? Our culture, our way of life has somehow groomed or allowed us to grow without even noticing when we are partaking in that corruption. So some people actually also partake in corruption out of ignorance, without even knowing that they've become part of that corrupt system. And you find this mostly in government institutions, because I did work in private institutions in Nigeria. I also worked in government institutions, and where I found this corruption was in government institutions. If I were the head of any agency, knowing what I know now, if I were head of any organization in Nigeria, I will make sure that the most functional part of that organization should be the finance department. The way money enters into hands in people in Nigeria, someone who shouldn't have necessarily anything to do with money, the way money gets into their hands. Why do I say this? I've worked in the UK for a number of years. Money that is not my salary, I've never seen it come my way. So, in as much as the culture here, please kindly excuse me. Olumide, do you want to continue?
Oh, sister, yeah, please.
Do you want to? Olumide, take over.
Yeah,
I will just step away.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. Yes, I'll just step away for now. I'm in the background, but Olumide, just continue. I'll come back. I'll come back to my thoughts.
So
Olumide, go ahead.
And this is see, part of what Osita alluded to is what I said earlier, that sometimes our culture has kind of paved a smooth way for that corruption and bribery to be kind of frowned upon by our society. But we must begin to define what part of that culture is acceptable and is not acceptable from this moment on. I mean, there's nothing wrong. For instance, I will say here, there was a day I was working in my healthcare facility here, and we sell bottled water in the fridge, and these two police people came in for something and to ask a few questions about an incident that happened around our area, a policeman and a policewoman. And then in the process of finding information and wanting to leave, then they asked, "Oh, can we please buy some water?" They were going to pay for it, but I said to them, I said, "Oh, it's part of our African culture where we appreciate people. Oh, you guys do a lovely job, law enforcement. It's okay, you don't need to pay." They were so happy, you understand, that somebody could do that. It didn't cost much, two bottles of water, But when it gets to that point, when somebody says, "Oh, okay, I can find something now. Sorry, I don't have," then respect that. But when when you cross the boundary, begin to demand before you get work done that should be legitimately done, that you're paid to do by your salary. I mean, the fabric of our society is broken anyway, because truly we need to redefine what the take-home pay should be for everybody. Because, I mean, the take-home pay for most of our government workers doesn't really take them home. There should be a system to review their pay regularly. But even if they get what they should get in a fair society, there will be some people who still want to collect bribe, and the law should be able to deal with that. But at least we should be reasonable to. I mean, you can't give a policeman 50,000 naira per month, and then you expect him to kill or to die or put his life on the line for you. When he dies, there's no guarantee, there's no insurance to take care of his family, the wife, and military men. So this, and then we see politicians stealing money every day. People who don't even do it, they only come, sleep, sit down for hours, sleep in the chambers, and go home and collect millions. You know, and the worst part of it all is we can't vote them out. They find that place juicy because of the access to resources that they have. The only way to really punish them legally, according to the law, is to vote them out, so that reasonable people can come in and begin to set good examples that we want. But they will find a way to rig themselves in and use the instruments of government to lord themselves over us. So that is the dilemma we're facing at this moment now. It's like the people have been captured. And then when you criticize freedom of speech, that is why freedom of speech is very important. When you criticize, these people use the law. They look at what happened in Ogun State, for instance. The local government chairman says the money coming to our local government is not reaching us. It's not reaching and the state governor, instead of just publishing your own side of the story and say, oh, what this guy is saying is not factual. This is publish how much the government gave you, publish how much you gave the local government. Instead of doing that, you send the DSS after him. And then you told the other chairman to impeach him. And yet you haven't cleared the air yet. But when people talk, and then we have instances of where governors will harass journalists because they published some things against them or their government, publish your own facts, so let people see. That is the only way you can vindicate yourself. Don't harass people. Look at Gbajabiamila Amela now, making a very, very fearful statement. He wants to regulate social media. Where in the world do they do that when we are not in China or Russia? And we want to grow the society. So these are the kind of dilemma that we are facing from every facet of society. But at least let these people know that there are consequences for what they're doing, so that we can vote them out and bring in reasonable people.
Is this reasonable people I am talking about? Before we can become reasonable or say reasonable people, we have to change our behaviors. Because that reasonable person you are talking is, for example, me. Okay? If I'm gonna fall in line with your argument that I'm reasonable, I have to change my behavior, because if I am not reasonable, Lumide, in the context of our discussion, that I still give bribe, when I get there, Lumide, be honest with me. Do you not think I will do worse than what I'm doing on the ground level?
Yeah, I agree with you.
So,
but you know, if the very foundation of our democracy, which allows us to choose our leader, is corrupted, then it becomes very difficult for us to achieve any change. If I, for instance, am appointed by Tinubu today to come and occupy a certain role to serve the people, I may not want to be corrupted, but there are certain people who may feel uncomfortable. Oh, this guy is going to expose us, and they gang up against you.
Lumide, let them gang up against you. This is where I keep saying, well, if they gang up against you, you've played your part. Okay, you've played your part. You've refused to play along with them. The worst that can happen is you will lose your job. But on the flip side, you may even gain sympathy if you stand your ground to say, no, this is the path I intend to follow. So we don't know until we take this risk. And that is
I
why,
agree with you.
that is why I disagree.
I agree with you. I agree completely.
I reserve the right to disagree. I disagree with the opposition party or those that Tinubu have extended an olive branch to come and join the government to see how we can make this thing work. I disagree with them for not accepting that offer, because it's difficult for you to make a change from outside. It's very hard.
Well, you know, with that regard, if the position of the party is that they don't accept that appointment, you know, they may have.
Oh yeah, I know. The party has to veto it fully.
They may have to toe that position.
Yeah,
but you know, I mean, we're in a difficult position.
Let me take some few comments and I'll come back to you guys.
I think Osita is ready.
Osita, just give me 1 second. You can watch them make video. So from the it's on YouTube. Okay. How somebody said something here. The conclusion that our culture aids corruption has not been proven. Okay, let me clarify when I mean culture. We've built a culture of corruption. I am not referencing to our culture as traditional culture. We're talking about behavior, culture of corruption that we have built over time. That is the culture I am referring to. Behaviors, okay? That is what I hope I have clarified that to you. You have not finished the line of thought. You realize you were corruption. Okay, this is to you, but ignore it anyway. Which part of our culture? Okay, I think I have explained that. Someone said that's not a cultural problem, it's a systemic problem. I think you are missing this word culture. When we say we've developed a culture of corruption, I think it's mixing it up. So let me just leave that for now. I wish you guys would prove this constant talk of how our culture is, why we are all corrupt, even potentially so. No. You are invariably saying nobody will get in power without stealing. That's fundamentally wrong. You are invariably saying nobody will get into power without stealing. That's fundamentally wrong. How is that fundamentally wrong? Equity, fairness, and justice. Your name contradicts what you just said, because if your name is equity, fairness, and justice, why do you need to steal to get into power? I can understand politics, that there's some backroom, whatever sacrifice or deal that is being made, that will be made this and that. But why do you need to steal? I don't understand. Why do you need to steal? What you choose to do is push to do it is all about your principles. Okay, you need to answer me. Why do you need to steal? Or is it that just portray the Nigerian corrupt mentality that stated that if you can't beat them, join them? No, we don't have to join them. We don't have to join them. Okay. Oh, I see. So you get the message now. Okay. Okay. Nobody has said here that everyone will steal. I never said so. Olumide never said so. And those in the other comment section never said so. So let the record reflect. Okay. And we also said not all problems are corrupt. But in the context of Nigeria now, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, or with the can the needle go through the eye? Camel go through the eye of the needle. Okay. So Osita, the floor is Osita, I yield the floor to you. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Sorry about the noise in the background earlier. So what I'm saying, back to what I was saying. Like I said to you, I've worked in private institution in Nigeria before I joined, the public institution. Now, what I found when I started working there was, and for the sake of, how do I say it? For privacy's sake, because this is something I've always wanted to discuss after I've gone to make corrections in that institution. Sadly, unfortunately, I've not had that opportunity, but by the grace of God, sometime this year is one of the things I hope to do. And I'll give you a typical example of that story and allow you to, and I'm sure what I'm saying now is something that is experienced in a lot of places. And remember what I said, that sometimes you even engage in corruption without knowing that you've engaged in it. Yes, we are all complaining, that the country, politicians are corrupt. Now imagine in an institution where, let's say, for instance, where you want to do your administration, maybe you want to do a registration to gain services in that, public office institution. Now, that there is a finance department. In fact, this is a hospital, so that I'll just paint the picture right so that everyone can understand. Imagine you come, you know that the first entrance when you get into a hospital is the accident and emergency. Yeah? But apart from that, you know that you have the finance department. So when people come in, just the way if you go to a private hospital to do, you want to see a doctor, want to see anybody, they will tell you, oh, you need to buy a card. Now, normally in a public hospital, where you're supposed to pay for that is the place, the finance department. There's even an administration department. But you know that most people, when they are rushing to the accident and emergency, a lot of things are in their head. They just want life saved. Do you know that at the point of that place, they'll tell you, okay, you've paid for registration, you've done your registration. Now, for you to be attended to instantly first, you need to make the first deposit. There's something they call a deposit pack, and that allows you to have access to something like IV fluids, cannula, set gauze, a whole lot of things that are used to attending to people emergently at that instant. Now, you have the choice of going to pay through the admin, and it's standardized. There is a certain amount of money you're supposed to pay. I can't remember it because it's been a very long time. But when you can either do that, or you come to that point of care, they tell you, oh, you can pay this money, that the people working here will now take it. Maybe the head person, the head of the institution, maybe the accident and emergency, maybe they now say to me, oh, Frank, collect this money from this person. Now my job as a clinician is nothing should concern me with money. But because you've been directed, you've even been mandated, oh, so why you're not selling these things in this place? Don't you know we have these things? You're supposed to collect money from these people. That after all, that the department later will remit the money to the what's it called? To the admin. And I can tell you, most of the people, even the head of the hospital, sometimes they know about these things. Why? Because they also get money out of it. So it's not just the head of the unit, the department, that is involved in this money, that in getting the money, but also the top heads. So it's just like what happens in the police, where you see people standing on the road, policemen stand on the road and collect 50 naira, and you think that their head, the people who are at hem of affairs are not aware. So the same thing I'm telling you happens in MDAs and in government public offices. It's not just the police. Now let's dial back to our election, to the INEC. So what I'm saying to you is that now, so someone like myself who came in from a private institution, I've never seen such a thing happening anyway. I came in, and that was what the norm was. And before you know it, if you're not mentally strong enough, if you've not had a certain level of exposure that brings you to want to stand on your right, before you know it, you're also partaking in that, because you're trying your best. You don't want to piss people off. You don't want to be singled out. You don't want to be, even lose the job you've got. You don't want to be the one who is hated upon, just like what he was saying. And this is the same way that government, which should be making money in that public office, is not making the money it should. So most MDAs, if an MDA is making ₦1 million per annum, or a public office for that matter, trust me, the only thing that gets to the government is 50,000 naira. And we're asking why we are poor, why the government doesn't have money. But then again, when you also spin the table, and I don't want to use this to justify anything. You mentioned about the minimum wage. How much are people in those offices are they earning? But I don't want to overflood that, because a certain part of me also tells me that regardless of how much people earn in those institutions, that culture, if not carefully looked upon, would still continue. Because it's become, knowing that, you can go out of your way and still get something that shouldn't be yours, and that nobody holds you accountable, and people do not frown upon it, and nobody is unhappy about it. Even the private citizens whom are being cheated, no, they don't even know. At the end of the day, they just want services rendered to them. So when someone asks you the culture, what sort of culture that they do not agree, I can understand if they have not, been in such organizations. I can also take this thing back to the secondary school era, our WAEC. I can tell you that 95% of us who have taken WAEC in Nigeria, or let me say 90%. I took my WAEC in 2008. I can tell you, I remember clearly what the exam hall was. I remember clearly that attempts were made. It's even legal. The schools and everything were arranged. Say, oh, students, you need to contribute money so that we will do what? So that we will pacify the invigilator.
Sorry for.
Now when I finished university, right. you begin do WAEC. Now, wow, you be small boy.
Sita is right. It's not. This is back in our days. You see, this is what I am saying, that when we do this at that level, so imagine what we will do when we get to the top there.
I get you, but I have another thing to say. To add to that. Now, so you're saying to me, maybe you guys also experience the same thing.
I can tell you what.
Okay. And look, and that brings me back to telling you that while I was in secondary school, I didn't know that was corruption.
Was it that?
I thought that was a way of the normal thing. That's how it's done.
Which one are you living in? That you don't know that is corruption?
No. Listen. Something wrong can become so glaringly, boldly and confidently done, acceptable, that it takes away the conscience of the wrongness in it. Just like some people who are kidnappers today, a lot of us might frown to kidnapping, but it has become something acceptable to certain people who are living in it, that they see no wrong. For them, it's justifiable.
I think I agree with Toshita in that respect.
So
it takes courage
for
somebody to come out.
Osita, are you saying? I'm trying to get you clear that this that you highlighted, that some people do not see it as corruption or bad.
Listen, I'm being very honest with you. If not, why would an invigilator during a WAEC examination say to people, oh, if you do not give me that money, you're not going to pass the examination? Without fear of being reported, without fear of losing their job through it.
We highlighted that it's because there is no consequences. The laws are not being enforced. That does not mean that we don't know that what we are doing is wrong.
See, listen, knowing that, let me say, you know that drinking too much Coke is not good for you, but sometimes you still drink it.
Yes, correct.
What I'm saying is this. We do not highlight the only aspect of corruption you hear us talking about is the one when politicians embezzle a huge amount of money.
And I'm telling you that they started just like from that WAEC. That is how it all started. That is the way, some way it went by, and they got away with it, and they got to the very top.
In fact, all of us are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the little aspects of our individual corruption within our immediate environment. First of all, like you said, like the topic, we need to bring it to bear. We need to create a more awareness to allow people that it is the smallest part of that corruption that now exacerbates to what we've seen as a full-blown
to what we are seeing today. Exactly.
So, and that's where sometimes there has been a time I also made an argument that unless we as a people start to work on ourselves, make that decision to do things better. You know, funny enough, I had this conversation with my wife today in the car. I said to her, look, babe, over here, I don't see people going to church. In fact, when my wife and myself, when we go to church, you know, we see like 15 other people apart from us. You can tell the people who came to that church, they're not coming there to pray to God to provide daily bread or anything. They're just coming because they really want to feel the presence of God. They don't need to do too much prayers for their society to be good. Why? Because everyone knows what is right and they do it. I can honestly say to you, I've lived in the UK for a good number of years, and I can tell you, it's almost like I never find people doing things wrong or purposely wanting to break the law. It's almost like that. It's like doing things right is engraved in their DNA. You know, and yet we in Nigeria are the people who are touted or amounted to be, you know, most religious. That is why churches would never make money in these developed countries that know value the ingredients of the rule of law. So it's a huge task.
It's a very huge task,
and listen, and I'm saying this. Listen.
It's a huge task, but we have to start somewhere.
No, we've got to start, and that is what we are doing. Having these conversations. That is what we are doing.
We will keep having the conversation. But
and how have I had the conversation in my own private place, in my own private life, my family people? When I saw the light, I started saying to them, I called my mother one day, I said, Mom, this thing you normally do, please, you need to stop it. That is not how it should be done. Certain things. So, and now that makes me to question certain individuals whom I thought would have known better, should have known better. Because sometimes there's a huge difference between coming overseas.
That is why it's very critical
for tourism.
People like Osita, who are thinking in local government level, state government level, presidential level, who want to bring about this change. Now, the man who is there right now, the president, is probably not thinking about all this.
No.
For him to even create a fair society.
Olumide, this is where I now have a problem. This is the place now I have a problem with a lot of us who have lived in the diaspora. You know, there's a difference between going to Dubai for tourism, for business, 3 months visit, than living in Dubai for 5 years, 6 years, or you've lived in the UK for 6 years, 7 years, or in America, or in elsewhere where the rule of law, is seen to manifest. So it baffles me when I see someone whom I thought would have lived in a society that would have allowed him to see the light, to re-engineer his thought process, his way of life. When they now go back home, and you still find them in the same thing. You still find them in the same thing, compromising. Something they necessarily wouldn't do here. Something they wouldn't never dare do here. Because I've seen a lot of people who have lived overseas, who have walked overseas. And when they go back, they know that those things destroy our society, yet they go back and they do the same. That is what now baffles me. That is where I now start questioning what exactly is wrong.
I think that for me, I think the present challenge right now is if somebody like you who wants to change or be part of change for the system at the electoral level, are they going to allow you to get there? That's the problem. Look at for instance, people they read themselves as state governors. Perhaps the person who wants to be state governor and truly won the election wants to fix the minimum wage for his own state, not even to be 30,000, but to be 60,000. But they won't allow him to get there to make that true change because these guys will read themselves in and corner the resources. That is the
And
challenge you are having.
there's a gentleman that passed away. And this thing pertains to minimum wage. Okay. Robert Herbert Wiebe, and God bless his, magnanimous soul. And okay, and this guy, of course, we all know is most likely, I don't know what he's what, but someone who is a CEO or head of Access Bank and all of that. Okay. The reason why so many people are rich in Africa, they get excessively rich, is what they do towards the same thing the slave masters did: exploitation of labor. People don't pay people. A lot of people who work in those banks earn less than 100,000 in those access banks.
You see,
And,
Osita, this thing you highlighted now. Sorry for interjecting. Okay, no, go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
But I don't want to because someone has passed away. But there's I know there's something about.
No. I am not talking about the guy that died. No,
Okay.
I'm not talking about that.
But
sorry for interjecting. Even
no, go ahead.
Beside his death, let's
leave that. Let's use another institution, for instance.
This thing you just highlighted, has been happening, is happening, where your employer will not pay, even in the private sector, will not pay you the normal salary he's supposed to pay you. You will work morning till night. He only goes home when he or she is closing. These are the ills we need to address. See, for us to be that better person. Go ahead.
So these things, you see, certain companies, very rich, the one at the head, the CEOs, the founders, and all of that, getting rich at the expense of other people. And in Nigeria, we definitely do not pay taxes. God, oh my gosh. That's why a lot of people who do certain businesses in Nigeria, they won't be able to do businesses overseas. Because first of all, when you pay people the minimum wage, I don't know what the minimum wage in England is, but over here in Scotland,
30,000 naira.
Yeah, it depends.
No, I'm talking about England. I'm talking about England.
Minimum wage.
USA.
There's a living wage. There's a living
what is
wage,
it?
and there's another.
I think here in Canada it's $15 per hour.
$15 an hour. In Scotland, it's about £11 something per hour. All right.
And they increase it at least against inflation every year.
Yes.
You get an increment against inflation.
Now, look at with all the inflation happening in Nigeria. And you tell me someone wouldn't steal? Because what happens is this. Let's take, for instance, a company in Nigeria. Now, because for me, certain businesses, although businesses are suffering, but I don't think it's the businesses that are suffering. I think it's the clients. I think it's the service users that are suffering. Let's take, for instance, if I were running a store, a store in Nigeria, maybe for provisions or whatever. Now, of course, if I was selling a can of biscuit, a packet of biscuit for 500 naira before this whole stuff with removal of subsidy, and now I'm selling it 1,000 naira. Okay, they will increase the cost of their goods, but did they increase the wages they pay to the people who work in those stores?
The answer is no. They don't.
I can certainly tell you that the business is not suffering, but the employees are suffering. Now, and I do not want to justify anything, please. I'm not here to justify theft or corruption or act of wrongdoing. But society building, whereas we are encouraging people to do better as employees, wherever you're serving, for you to serve better, the people also at the head must stop looking alone out for themselves. You shouldn't be getting rich at the expense of other people. It's good to get rich, but also the people who are working under you, do they have a decent living?
So you can see that we have to start. We have to start with that. And like I said,
so, there is a lot wrong with us. And and do you know the funniest thing? There are about 15 million people.
Sit down, please.
There are over 15 million Nigerians living in the diaspora. A lot of us have been living in diaspora before, someone like myself even thought of our coming overseas. A lot of us had gone and came back, had seen how things used to work over here. That is my pain. That some people would have seen how societies work over here, and they do not make, take it out of themselves to say, how do we build the same society?
Some, like you rightly said, some have left and gone to, they are part of they become ministers or senators, and you just kind of ask yourself, I thought this person is coming from a sane society. How suddenly he got here, and he just, without delay, without anything, he just joined the system immediately.
Let me tell you, I was furious the other day, and it's my right to be. Okay,
don't let your
that I saw this gentleman, this good gentleman from Delta State, Ned Nwoko, when he came out and he was, pushing for the notion, the bill, the motion for, for us to arm ourselves. And he said, that three months ago that his driver was kidnapped, and that even after paying the ransom, that he's not been released. I said, finally, how did they say it? That is either that the roost came home or whatever. But finally, he got to him. It came to his understanding that, probably if they could take his driver, they can possibly take him. I mean, what's the difference between him and his driver? I mean, security-wise. So, but then again, that man who is saying that, how much does he pay his employees? That's the first thing we need to go and ask. Because if someone is working for him and they see him living so much affluence, and at the end of the day, he's paying them 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira, and please, I do not know how much he pays his employees, please. You think they will not start thinking of kidnapping you? When we go and we flaunt wealth in the faces of people who do not know where their 3 square meals are going to come from?
I think, Osita, thank you for that. I think we should throw a caution to ourselves here. I thank you for this thing you just said. I think I've said it several times to people that, listen, except you do not work for your money. I mean, you're right in that. We go back and we flaunt. Some of us even borrow money to go back. And you don't know what these people are going through. And I tell people, why don't you just be something you're not going to do here? Why do you go there to do it? I don't get it.
So what I'm saying is, yes, there is a lot that is wrong with our society. But what I always say is, if you know what is right, don't start doing it. No one is promised tomorrow. Even tomorrow, no, I'm not sure the both of us are going to be here.
Nobody knows tomorrow.
Someone told Herbert Wigwe that
he's going to die. He won't believe it. He was
going to leave. He wouldn't believe it. Okay?
Nobody knows what is around the corner.
Life is too short.
Too short.
Okay? I mean, I've lived in this country and I cannot tell you who is rich and who is poor.
You cannot, because the houses are built the same way. We all drive. In fact, you can, if not for the fact that the Prime Minister has his own personal built car. If it's out there in the open, you can go in there and just do your normal HP. If you can afford it, they give it to you.
So there is a lot that needs to be done. We can't achieve everything at the same time. Okay, but people, we need to start making effort more. We need to start, and that is what we are doing here. I don't know how many people these conversations are going to, is going to reach. Well, but every day when we come here,
we can just hope that it reach as much people as possible.
Because mindset is information. People, at the end of the day, we're a product of of our input. What sort of information, the environment around us, what that environment encourages. But I can tell you, our society is at the heights of its decay and decadence.
We'll fix it. We'll fix it. Don't give up. Don't give up. But I like what you said. And like I said, Olumide is not here. Before I bring the broadcast to a close, when those the incident of WAEC and arranging money to that has been. I'm surprised that you are just.
No.
That has been. I can't tell you. I can tell you incident and incident and incident and incident and incident for my age. Okay, I can tell you. We are the society. We make up the institution.
Do you remember when this young? Do you remember when this young girl in Mesoma, when her news was flying about?
Yes,
listen,
exactly.
When I saw it and people were making most out of it, I was like, we are so hypocritical in Nigeria. We are so damn hypocritical.
We are. Honestly.
We are so damn hypocritical. Knowing fully well that most of us, when we go for our JAM examination,
we do it.
We do it. So what is the difference with what she did in going to alter her score than someone claiming that they've written what they've not wrote?
There's everybody native.
So what are we talking about?
Everybody native. Now we don't cash none of this. Anyway, I started bring the broadcast to a
see, I never regret living overseas. Because
I go kill us.
Because what I found living overseas was that no, there's actually a decent way of doing things.
There's a decent way of living.
And this is why I now say to you that sometimes a lot of us are already part of the corruption without knowing.
I see that aspect.
Without knowing.
There's
or without finding. See, the thing is that there are certain things, sort of corruptions that we do not want to entertain, but there are certain corruptions we want to entertain.
I say that doesn't sit well with me because I may agree to an extent that some do not know that, but I want to say that most of us know back then that this thing we are doing, it's not right. Particularly when we give policemen bribes on the 50 naira, 10 naira. Believe it or not, we know that we know.
Let us even say the police. Let's not even leave the police aspect of it.
The police is just one aspect. It's in every.
Let's going back to the basics, like the way I spoke about this WAEC and JAM.
Of course,
parents who give their children money for special centers.
Exactly. I said it earlier that parents who their children do not pass JAM or pass WAEC, we go to university and pay lecturers and pay the chancellor or the dean or whatever it is, the registrar, to ensure that their child. That is what we are saying, and what I keep saying is, please stop calling out Tinubu until we start to call out ourselves. That is the point. I'm not saying our leaders are good; they are not, but they are from us. They started the way we are doing. We, the human beings, are the institution. If we don't have a strong institution, it's because we are the one that made it that way. Our institution is weak because of corruption. Corruption that you and I have created, have made part of our life. And so, like I said, we can wish all we want to wish. We can pray all we want to pray. We can wish for a big bank or expecting a big bank chain to just fall on us, and suddenly everything change. It will never happen, not in a billion or a trillion years.
So,
it ain't gonna happen.
So the question is this. What exactly needs to be done to reset our values?
What needs to be done to reset our value? It's you and I individually. It's going to be painful, Osita. It's going to be it's a treacherous journey we are going to embark. It's never going to be easy. Trust me when I say that, Osita. I think Man of Prestige, somebody highlighted something that that is, if you don't give, it can be detrimental. I agree on that 100%. But when for us to make sacrifice and make this change happen individually, the top will do their own. People are saying, "Oh, the top first." Listen. They are the one that enforce the law. I can understand that. But if we want to change the system and change the government, we need to first of all start to change our mindset. Then for us to not change our mindset, I will not say, Osita has changed. I can count on Osita to vote for him. Electricity has changed. I can count on electricity to vote for him. This person has changed this and that. If that do not happen, and you and I continue in this practice, we are still going to get to that same top. Like this person said here, he said we must start from the top. The top is the place to start. No, the top is not the place to start. We want to change the top. We want to put people that can reduce the resetting.
I think you build from the bottom up.
We want to reset the system. So for us to now change those people on the top, we that wants to take over, that feel that we know, we have to start to change our mindset. To change our mindset. Then we will now start to now see ourselves in place of authority, in position. Then we can now start to effect that change. If not, if I continue to give bribe and I become president tomorrow, you are wasting your time. And like I said, I will sell the country to the lowest bidder. Not the highest bidder, to the lowest bidder. That is what is going to happen. And that is what has happened, because the likes of Tinubu, the likes of Buhari, the likes of Wike, the likes of Beta Edu, the likes of every one of them, they did not start from the top there to be corrupt. No, they started just like you and I, walking on the street, giving 10 kobo bribe, giving 1 naira bribe, giving 50 kobo bribe, giving 500 naira bribe. They now work their way to the top. Now we want to change the system. We hope they can change. But
why I said bottom up, top bottom, both are required. I can also agree. I don't know.
Bottom up, top bottom, both are required. But everything is required. Let's play in our own little corner. If not, we are going to sit down here. I'm not saying people should not come and sit down here. We are going to talk and talk and talk and talk. Yes, talk is good. But like what somebody said, we need to educate now. Education now. Education is part of talk, or talk is part of education. Which, like I said, we will do. Which I will do. But coming here every day, I have taken my time to ask, to see, before I came, this broadcast was supposed to be done on Saturday. I just said, no, let me come and sit down here. And because it's been ringing in my head. And I said, let me put this out there, because if we don't start now, I don't know where.
Electricity, I always wanted to ask, why does it always seem like it's just your stream, the stream, it only has capacity for only 10 people?
No, it has capacity for 10. It can take others in the backstage. That's the way it's designed by stream.
But there are other stream softwares that allow
Zoom allowed more than 100. I don't know. But this one is StreamYard, so I don't know. I really don't know. I think that should be discussed. That will be discussed with Dr. Damages. But I think Zoom, you can have a lot of people at the same time. So it will be exploited. We will exploit that and see what it causes.
Say 1 year don't pass since the election.
Yeah. We are waiting for. You see, this is what I'm saying. Sorry for interjecting you. We are waiting for 2027 before we start to be talking. Start to ringing that jingle bell. Jingle bell. Election is coming.
It's a 1 year don't work out. You get
February 20. No, it's not yet 1 year. It was February. It's not. It's next week.
Already in February.
Huh?
We're already in February.
Yeah, but
this month is as good as gone.
It's not 23rd or 24th or 24th.
25th.
25th of February. So it's still next week. It's not yet 1 year. 1 year anniversary is not yet. Hasn't come yet. All right, Osita. Thanks for joining, and hopefully we shall see you again. I appreciate your time. Those of you in the comment section, thank you very much, and hopefully we will see again. And have a lovely week ahead.
Thank you, electricity.